Matt Armstrong says he's one of the best drifters. And in this video, I'm going to expose Matt Armstrong's drifting. And if I don't beat him, I'm going to donate £1 for every view I get.
Imagine a multi-million-dollar Bugatti split in half. Its value debated by experts, with one calling it worth barely a third of its original price, and another saying it could sell for nearly twice that. How can the exact same car command such wildly different numbers? This isn't just about price. It's a story of a wrecked hypercar, a corporate clash, and an English mechanic's epic gamble to rewrite the rules of value. What happens when a legendary brand tries to erase a car, and that car comes back stronger than ever? The valuation divide. The story of Matt Armstrong's Bugatti rebuild begins with an impossible number split. Two experts, looking at the exact same car, gave valuations more than $1 million apart. One said the car was worth barely a third of its original price. The other argued it could fetch nearly twice what it originally sold for. This staggering discrepancy isn't guesswork or hype. It reflects a deep tension in how we value something more than just metal and horsepower. What turns a wrecked hypercar into a legend worth arguing over? The Bugatti in question is a Chiron Pur Sport, one of a mere 60 ever made. A track-focused, lightweight supercar wrapped in carbon fiber and powered by a quad-turbo 8-liter W16 engine, pumping out around 1,500 horsepower. When new, this car commanded between $4 and $4.5 million. It's a pinnacle of automotive engineering, designed not just to perform, but to captivate the imagination of collectors and enthusiasts worldwide. Then, in 2025, the story changed. The car crashed. Sitting in pieces at a salvage yard, it looked like a badly wrapped gift rather than a $1 million masterpiece. Even with this damage, Copart, the auction where the car was listed, estimated its retail value just shy of $5 million. On paper, this assumed someone would invest millions more to bring it back to perfection. The owner at the time, Miami-based content creator Alex Gonzalez, bought that wreck for about $1.6 million, which ballooned to nearly $1.9 million once fees were included. Bugatti's own factory quote to repair the car initially came in around $1.7 million and later dropped below $700,000 after negotiations. Repair alone, at factory prices, was more than a house would cost many buyers, yet it didn't include finishing touches like a paint job. These numbers all clash, but none fully captures the complexity. Copart's valuation assumed the car was a fixer-upper with hope. Bugatti's number priced genuine restoration at the highest certified standard. Alex paid a premium for the privilege of a doomed rebuild. And then there's Matt Armstrong, a British YouTuber and mechanic who chose to rewrite the playbook entirely by taking on the impossible job of rebuilding this car outside of factory walls. Once Matt got involved, the car transformed from a straightforward asset with a straightforward price into something far harder to measure. It stopped being just a hypercar and became a symbol with a story, rebuilt by hand, against the wishes of the brand itself. When two experts look at the same finished car and leave with $1 million gap in their valuations, they're not disagreeing on facts. They're wrestling with two different views: a damaged hypercar or a legend reborn. The next chapter unpacks the crash that ended one story and sparked another, revealing the risks accepted and battles fought to preserve a car no one expected to see rebuilt. Behind the crash and salvage. The saga began in Miami, where influencer Alex Gonzalez was pushing the Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport hard. The car's front end suffered catastrophic damage in the crash. Carbon fiber cracked, airbags deployed, and critical components like the transmission were smashed beyond what insurance adjusters considered repairable. The insurance company wrote it off without debate. This should have been the end. A payout, a car scrapped, and a quiet fade from view. But Alex had other plans. Instead of letting the car be forgotten, he bought back the wreck at a Copart auction, paying steeply discounted but still significant amounts, around $1.6 million plus fees. That decision turned the car's fate upside down and sparked a corporate battle with Bugatti itself. What normally would have been a closed chapter turned into a high-stakes standoff. Bugatti's factory, based in Molsheim, France, quoted a sky-high repair bill for restoring the car to its original condition. When Alex declined the official factory rebuild, Bugatti responded by blacklisting the vehicle's unique identification number. This blacklist meant no authorized dealer worldwide would supply parts to the car. Essentially, Bugatti made the car disappear from its network, cutting off official service and support. Behind the scenes, the company's decision was deliberate. They chose to exert full control over a damaged vehicle that didn't fit their pristine image. The move reflected a desire to erase the wreck rather than enable an outsider restoration, protecting both their brand and the mystique surrounding Bugatti ownership. No car, especially one as exclusive as the Chiron Pure Sport, was supposed to exist outside their complete oversight. Frustrated, Alex went public, even posting a 24-hour ultimatum for Bugatti to lift the blacklist or face the shame of having parts 3D printed by outsiders. This provoked a direct response from Mate Rimac, Bugatti's CEO, who emphasized the impossibility and dangers of unofficial repairs, warning about non-printable parts like the gearbox, and stressing the critical safety risks inherent in botched rebuilds. Mate's messages combined engineering caution with a firm reminder of the official path required to maintain the car's integrity. His public and private warnings reflected both concern for safety and a defense of Bugatti's authority over its vehicles. The debate spilled onto social media, highlighting a corporate clash that went far beyond parts and repair. It became a battle over ownership, control, and credibility. Bugatti's resistance was as much about brand protection as technical integrity. The company's century-old reputation relied heavily on maintaining exclusivity and control. Letting a home garage rebuild with improvised parts borrowed from other cars challenged that narrative. Bugatti's blacklist was their attempt to dismiss a problem by making the car vanish from official channels. The stakes he faced, not just the car's fragile state, but his own reputation and the enormous risks of tackling a machine few dared to touch. Bugatti's blacklist and control battle. Bugatti's decision to blacklist the Chiron Pure Sport was unprecedented and powerful. The car's vehicle identification number was banned throughout Bugatti's official parts and service network, making it impossible for any authorized dealer globally to sell replacement components. This move practically erased the car from the company's ecosystem, signaling a deliberate intention to prevent its revival outside the factory. Such a drastic step underscores how fiercely Bugatti guards its brand and product integrity. The company's century-long legacy is built on absolute control over every part of the ownership experience: sales, maintenance, repairs, and restorations. Deviations threaten both the safety of the car and the carefully cultivated exclusivity that commands multi-million-dollar prices. Blacklisting was a last resort to protect that empire. In response, the car's owner, Alex Gonzalez, publicly urged Bugatti to reverse the blacklist, even hinting at 3D printing parts himself to keep the car alive. This prompted a direct message from Mate Rimac, the CEO of Bugatti, who stepped into the spotlight with a rare public engineering lecture rather than a threat. Rimac stressed that essential parts like the gearbox and carbon fiber monocoque cannot be reliably 3D printed, and warned that unauthorized repairs might compromise safety. Mate Rimac's carefully worded response was less about confrontation and more about asserting technical realities and brand standards. He emphasized the complexity of Bugatti's engineering, where shortcuts and improvisation could lead to catastrophic failure. His message underscored that the Chiron Pure Sport isn't just a car. It's a high-risk, precision machine that demands full factory attention. Beyond safety concerns, there was a deeper layer to the standoff: control. Bugatti's move to cut off parts access wasn't just about damaged components. It was about preserving its aura and pricing power. If the car could be legally restored outside authorized channels, it would threaten the company's multi-million-dollar repair and maintenance business, as well as its carefully guarded exclusivity. This clash highlights the tension between modern maker communities and legacy luxury manufacturers. On one side is a historic brand aiming to protect its century-old mystique. On the other, a growing breed of independent builders defying conventions with skills, creativity, and online followings. Matt Armstrong's involvement would crystallize this conflict in a way no one expected. Bugatti's choices reflect the power dynamics in play in today's automotive world, a world where social media, content creation, and grassroots expertise can challenge even the most protected brands. Blacklisting was a bold move, but it only set the stage for an unprecedented rebuild story that would capture a global audience. The drama of this control battle paints a vivid picture of the stakes involved, setting the scene for the next chapter. Matt Armstrong's unlikely rebuild. Matt Armstrong's entry into this saga was anything but ordinary. Born in Leicester, England, in 1993, Matt grew up under the influence of his father, Tony, who ran a garage and instilled in him a lifelong passion for mechanics. While most kids his age focused on sports or school, Matt absorbed the skills of taking machines apart and putting them back together. Cars, however, were not his first love. BMX racing was, and for years Matt competed internationally, chasing a career that was ultimately cut short by injury. After his BMX career ended, Matt found himself pivoting back toward the garage life. He began building a YouTube channel years earlier, initially sharing BMX trick videos, but gradually his content shifted toward resurrecting wrecked cars. His mantra was simple: buy vehicles no one wanted, rebuild them in public, and let the drama unfold naturally. From those humble beginnings, his channel blossomed to over 4 million subscribers, thanks in large part to his authentic and transparent style. When the Bugatti arrived, Matt wasn't just taking on another rebuild. He was confronting a challenge that would eclipse everything he had done before. This wasn't any car. It was a multi-million-dollar hypercar with a carbon fiber monocoque and a quad-turbo W16 engine capable of reaching mind-boggling speeds. It was designed to factory tolerances that few outside authorized Bugatti technicians could hope to match. One misstep could ruin the machine, or worse, endanger lives. The damage revealed when the Bugatti was dismantled was staggering. The crash had pushed the engine forward with enough force to crush coolant pipes and crack the cast aluminum engine mount, a sacrificial part designed to fail in such collisions. More alarming still was the fact that, to fully assess the transmission and chassis damage, the car had to be split cleanly in half. Only 2 facilities worldwide possessed the know-how and equipment to separate the front from the rear, and Matt had to become the third. His team meticulously worked through 14 titanium bolts holding both halves together. Each bolt removed carried the risk of destabilizing the entire chassis. It was a nerve-wracking process performed in a home garage rather than a state-of-the-art plant, amplifying the stakes exponentially. Yet, Matt and his crew persisted, transforming improvisation into an art form, fabricating replacement parts from scratch, and repurposing components from entirely different cars. Among the details that made the rebuild feel surreal was the replacement of destroyed airbags with ones from an Audi A3 and patching damaged coolant pipes with rigid brake hose sections. Even the accelerator pedal turned out to be a simple molded plastic piece, unexpectedly humble for a car that costs millions. One particularly tense moment came when Matt accidentally compressed a fuel tank pressure sensor between 2 parts of the car, almost forcing a full chassis separation again. His quick thinking and custom modifications prevented disaster. After months of painstaking labor, the moment everyone awaited arrived. The reunited buggy roared to life. The engine's growl was deeper and more visceral than before, signaling not just survival, but revival. a briefly popped fuel line was swiftly fixed, and the car rolled into gear for the first time since the crash. This milestone, while monumental, was only the beginning, as Matt had plans that would push the car far beyond restoration. The wide-body conversion reimagined the car beyond its factory DNA, raising the stakes in not just engineering, but ownership of a story, one no longer controlled by Bugatti itself. The wide-body transformation. The Chiron's wide-body project marked a radical departure from the norm. Rather than simply restoring the car to factory specifications, Matt and Alex embraced a creative rebuild that would result in a unique, one-of-a-kind machine. The scale and ambition of this conversion shattered traditional expectations for supercar restorations, creating something entirely new that challenged collectors and enthusiasts to rethink what constitutes value in the hypercar world. This transformation wasn't about making the car like new again, it was about pushing boundaries, melding performance, aesthetics, and personality in a way no factory Chiron ever had. Wide-body kits generally widen the car's stance and increase its presence on the road or track, signaling exclusivity and customization that turn heads and spark debate. In this case, the wide-body edition wasn't just aftermarket flair. It embodied the spirit of rebellion that had defined the car's entire rebuilding saga. This redefinition complicates valuation immensely. No longer is it just a totaled Chiron restored to its pristine former glory. It is now a unique Bugatti, absent from the official canon and created outside factory authorization. The brand that prides itself on exclusivity and tight control faces a situation where the legend is rewritten by outsiders, altering what enthusiasts and collectors are willing to pay. Traditional metrics for salvage cars apply a steep discount, generally 20 to 40% below clean title equivalents. Applying that math mechanically to this Bugatti would place it far below original value, accounting for a salvage title and the home-built nature of many replacement parts. Insurers and auction houses would price the car between $1.2 and $1.6 million, a brutal contrast to its original price, and even the cost of a professional factory rebuild. Yet, this story is far from ordinary. The rebuild has been one of the most documented hypercar restorations in YouTube history, transforming the vehicle into a global spectacle and a collectible target for buyers who value provenance as much as condition. The narrative around the car, the defiance, creativity, and spectacle, is now inseparable from the car itself, boosting its worth beyond conventional calculations. Historically, provenance alone can add 15 to 30% on top of standard valuations. High-profile collector sales, like Rowan Atkinson's McLaren F1, a car that survived multiple crashes, have proven that buyers often pay premiums for stories that resonate deeply within car culture. The repaired Bugatti's fame similarly commands attention and value from culturally embedded buyers, many of whom view the salvage title as part of its allure rather than a detriment. The wider implications of this transformation ripple far beyond one car, hinting at a future where stories and builders hold as much influence as brands and certifications. Valuing a legend versus a salvage. The final question hangs heavy. How do you truly value a car like Matt Armstrong's rebuilt Bugatti? On one side is the traditional view, grounded in tangible factors like condition, parts provenance, and title history. Salvage cars, no matter how meticulously rebuilt, are typically priced 20 to 40% below their clean title siblings. That math alone would place this Bugatti well under its original $4 million value, reflecting the stigma and risk buyers associate with a salvage title and hand-assembled, improvised components. Yet, this isn't a conventional rebuild. It's one of the most publicly documented hypercar restorations ever undertaken, followed by millions worldwide. The car's story has become inseparable from the metal and engineering, turning it into a commentary on resilience and ingenuity. In collector circles, such narrative weight can add 15 to 30% or more to a car's valuation. Provenance, in this case, includes defying a multi-billion-dollar manufacturer and transforming a write-off into a symbol of determination. When these perspectives collide, they produce a valuation window rather than a fixed price. By the strict salvage standard, the Bugatti might be worth around $1.2 to $1.6 million. Add in the premium for its legendary rebuild and cultural significance, and estimates rise toward $2.1 million. This range isn't guesswork. It acknowledges the realities of salvage depreciation alongside the undeniable allure of this one-of-a-kind story. Such complexity forces us to ask, what really drives value in today's automotive collector market? Is it pristine condition and documented factory work alone? Or can an outsider's spirit and a car's unique journey redefine worth? This Bugatti rewrite challenges the traditional power structures of exclusivity, turning value assessment into a debate not about parts, but about identity. The case also highlights how digital culture reshapes collector behavior. YouTube documentation, viral exposure, and community engagement create new forms of authenticity and desirability. Matt Armstrong's rebuild didn't just restore a car, it built a global audience invested in its outcome. For many buyers, being part of that story is as valuable as the car itself, if not more. Still, this valuation duality can unsettle traditionalists who rely on black and white definitions of worth. For them, a salvage rebuild, especially one done without factory sanction and using borrowed parts, is a liability. For others, this Bugatti is a trophy of defiance, storytelling, and mechanical prowess that no factory rebuild could replicate. The tensions here reflect wider shifts in how we understand heritage, ownership, and craftsmanship. Ultimately, Matt Armstrong's Bugatti sits at a crossroads between two worlds: the certified purity that Bugatti's empire represents and the rebellious creativity that defines modern car culture. It's a reminder that value is more than dollars. It's narrative power, cultural significance, and the human spirit transforming machines into legends. Matt Armstrong's Bugatti rebuild is more than a car fixed. It's a bold statement about control, creativity, and what makes a machine truly valuable. This story shakes up tradition and challenges how we measure worth in a world where narrative and passion can rival pedigree. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like and subscribe for more stories where automotive legends and real people collide.